Thank you. It is my honor to be here to take my presentation. This is my first time to take part in the Biophysical Economics Conference since 2009. I clearly remember the 2009 after the peak oil conference in Denver. Me and Gail, we flying to Syracuse. So this is already first time to take the conference, RSBPE. So okay. So this the picture is very popular. Yeah.
Charlie working, is that it?
Yes. And also this one, this book. So I agree with the title of the book, especially the unifying principle for biology, economics, and sustainability. Okay. In the book, Charlie Hall and Kent Kierkegaard, this is the definition of the biophysical economics. So here, I don't want to talk in detail about this conception, but I want to say this is one of the most possible theory to replace the traditional economics. And it should be admitted that the biophysical economics has achieved great development in the past decade. For example, in China, we have several kind of the new theory of economics. They want to replace the new classical. Even I think the biophysical economics may be the best one to replace the new classical. But still, we need to ask several questions. I think yesterday, the members of RSBPE are very active. But I like to ask the question is, one, should be the information be seen as the one type of energy? So when we account the EROI, this is all of the things. The elements come from the energy and the materials. What about the information? The second, should intellectual capital be included in the EROI's calculation? And the third, what's the final objection of biophysical economics?
Objective.
Yes, objective. Yes. And how to consider the fairness and the justice? What's the position of agent-based entropy in biophysical economics? Okay, let me talk the example one, connecting energy and information. If we check the materials, the book, and the papers, we really found the topic about the entropy and the energy universal computation. And now, even many people talk about everything bit. So the people, especially some experts, they agree to include the information to the energy. Is it right? Okay. And when we check the papers. For example, King, his paper published in the Biophysical Economics and the quality and the resources quality talk about the efficiency with energy combined with the information. For example, what is the redundancy and efficiency? These concepts are very difficult to understand. But it seems to be very useful to explain the structural change within the economy. But it is still difficult. Okay. The second example is what is the final objective of the biophysical economics? We really know this figure is the first half and the second half of the period of an oil age. All of us agree that now and even the second half of the oil age may be dominated by the biophysical economics. Okay, but we still want to know what is the objective for us in detail. So, also, and the third is the fairness and the justice. When we use the EROI and net energy analysis to analyze the economy of world, even within the different countries. But we still need to talk about the fairness and justice. The Mr. Garvin Barley, last year we have invited him to talk in our university. When he taught the students, we found it is good for the biophysical economics to explain the sustainability and the social justice. And now the population of the middle class already shrink rapidly, and the unequal distribution of the social wealth also expanded further. So this means injustice and unfairness are very popular. So thus biophysical economics consider this to be included in our theory. So I propose to consider this. Okay. The concept also we have the following questions. The concept of EROI is at micro level or macro level. What are the basic principles for our biophysical economics? And then what the difference is between the biophysical economics and the socialism and the communism? Yes. So yesterday in the bus, I talked to the Professor Nancy Lee Wood. So about the communism and the socialism and the biophysical economics. Okay. The example fourth is the principle of neoclassical economics and biophysical economics. If we check that the textbook of Gregory Mankin, his textbook is very popular in China. If we count the students, maybe each year minimum 1 million college students are learning his textbook. Very popular. Yes, this is the textbook, the content of his. And several days ago, my colleague invited me to talk in the University of Beijing, one of the leading, the best university in China. And I asked the students, do you believe in Gregory Mankin? They said, at the beginning, we don't believe. We don't trust. But finally, they believe.
It's true.
So, yes. Okay. When we talk, Mr. Brody, Garvin Brody. Oh, this is the first I want to say that the 10 principles of economics of the textbook of Gregory Mankin. The first one is people face trade-off. The second is the cost of something is what you give up to get it. Oh, okay. Third, fourth, the 2 tenths. I will not say each one. We really find the 10 principles of his textbook is very simple. And the students and the people believe in or not already, whether it is useful or not. For the contrast with, for example, the Garvin Brody.
Excuse me, because Ken and I, we're going to say what those things really mean.
Yeah.
What they really mean. So, you know, like number 9, prices rise when the government prints more money than they pump oil. You know, things like that.
Yeah. So some of the professors here, sitting here, maybe teach the economics. Maybe not. Okay. So at the last year, when Garvin Brody taught in my university, here is his principle of biophysical economics. So maybe today I don't have enough time to talk about this. I just take the list here. So maybe interesting for all. Okay. The example 5. Macro level of EROI or biophysical economics. All of us talk about the EROI, and we account, for example, the oil fields, the coal fields, the EROI are individually project EROI for solar, wind, and others. Maybe we will need the macro level EROI principle. This figure, I think it is useful, especially here, the principle of maximum preservation of energy. Also, principle of maximum degradation of energy. Yes, the picture, the Garvin Brody was teaching. Okay. So this is a okay. We should also need to discuss the following questions. What are the real implication of the biophysical economics? What should we do to tell the truth to the other people? For example, here is the figure of the one paper from one of the author is the French author. His name is
Zane and Court.
the first one is Feng. Yeah. Okay. This paper has more implication on macro level of economics with EROI. So he said the U.S. economy, when the EROI of the social EROI, we say the expenditure of energy consumption in the national level, if this figure about 11%, then the economy of the country will be stagnated.
Be what?
Yes, stop. So this means it stop. Okay. So then can we say if the national or world social EROI level equal 11%, then the world economy couldn't go further develop. Or we say the globalization could be finished. So several days ago, I and my students write a paper published in the journal, a small journal. The next energy crisis, the reason of the stop of globalization and the trade war. American President Trump, he began the trade war with other countries. So maybe I think this is the reason is the EROI already take the limitation. Maybe. Okay.
Changes brought about in this
Yes.
serious way.
Here, some the papers talking about the eco-localization, within the progress of the peak oil and the climate change, and the peak globalization maybe now already reached the peak. Okay. So we have we have the very best expert in the biophysical economics. For example, Gail Teverber, when she taught in our university, the students are very welcome. And also for here, our future economic is more likely to be steady state economy instead of the growth economy. These analyses, these description of the story are interesting and useful. But maybe we still need to more close to the principle of economics for biophysical economics to conceptualization. Okay, I propose one figure is when we talk about the economics, the demand and the supply take the equilibrium here. But maybe we can change it. The EROI of the fossil fuel decline, and the EROI for renewable energy increased. But we need to know when the equilibrium be reached. Yes. Okay. For example, several days ago, before this conference, we visited, I and my colleague, Professor Sun Zhu and Jianliang, we visited the western city of China, Dunhuang, where is the very famous caves of Buddhism. Here is the very big pioneer project for solar energy in the desert. A lot of the mirror to reflect the sunshine to the tower, to take the tower very heating the tower, and after that to make the electricity. I think maybe. Okay. I also have several pictures here. Maybe in some days the fossil fuel declined, the EROI declined, and the renewable energy EROI increased, even higher than fossil fuel. So this means that in the future maybe the fossil fuel, we don't need to consume the fossil fuel. Okay. So one of the biggest issues of world energy is renewable energy in China. We need to do a lot of research about EROI and feasibility study on it. So the question is, one, the EROI comparison between the solar wind with fossil fuel. The second is grid stability with large scale renewable energy. It is a big problem. Yes, very big problem. The third could be the EROI for renewable energy meets the minimum EROI for national level of EROI. So this means when the fossil fuel we won't consume anymore, the renewable energy can meet us requirement, especially the world trading, globalization or not. So this is the big questions. For the textbook of biophysical economics in the future, these questions maybe I think should be answered. Yeah. Okay. Also, in the world, to make more and more people understand the biophysical economics and to expand our new theory, biophysical economics should enter the public arena, and we should think the pathway for this entry. We need more attractive stories. More. Yeah. Maybe Jack, your video attractive. Yes. And our ISBP members could write more stories to explain the principle of biophysical economics. Okay. So, and we have done in China, we held the first biophysical conference in China this year, in March, in University of Beijing. Some experts, the teachers from different universities, Charlie?
Yes,
Yes. He attended.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. He's my best PhD graduate. He's very famous in China, I understand.
Beijing University is the leading university in China. So if the textbook or course of biophysical economics be used in Beijing University, maybe it may take a big impact on China. But now, not yet. So this means the students even sometimes ask us, why do you include the biophysical economics course in our list of courses? But we answered, we don't have the textbook.
We do now.
Translate the energy motivations into Chinese.
Okay. We try to build the ISBP China society. Yes? Okay. Even we have done some papers, academic papers, even in the simple stories in journals, newspapers, etc. This is academic research, oil fields, the coal mining, and others. Yes. Okay. So I finished.
Thank you. Thank you.